Tonight, it is clearer than ever. We're living through a transformational time. The world will never be the same. Events of the last month are having substantial and unprecedented impacts on our economy, our culture, and our way of life. But we're making progress for now and in the future as well, because the books are being completely rewritten on how we address pandemics. That includes travel bans, public-private partnerships, telemedicine, at-home testing, drive-through testing, 5-minute testing, antibody testing, bypassing draconian FDA rules, allowing choice. And that means off-label prescriptions and so much more.
We're going to have a rough week. We're going to have maybe a little more than a week. But there's tremendous light at the end of that tunnel. I said it last time, said it last night. There's tremendous light at the end of the tunnel. There's so many things happening with therapeutics, with vaccines, with things that we really want. Deborah, Tony, they're all working so hard on this.
If we had gotten to it sooner and it had not been a hoax, if the president had not set the table for the American people, if he had told the American people earlier on, hey, this is serious, you need to take precautions, we may have to shut some things down, you may not be able to travel the way you want to, there are some things you may not be able to do, instead of saying it is a political hoax by the Democrats and the media, we would not be at this point. So President Trump is on vacation this week at his golf resort in New Jersey, but he's not taking any time off from Twitter and apparently from watching me on CNN, which he denies, by the way. I know this because he has tweeted a nasty, hateful swipe at me and LeBron James that we've been discussing here. You probably read about it or saw it somewhere. I sat down with the NBA great for a primetime exclusive. That was last week after LeBron had just opened his I Promise school for 240 at-risk third and fourth graders. And during our conversation, LeBron said this.
You know, we are in a position right now in America, more importantly, where this race thing is taking over. You know, because I believe our president is kind of trying to divide us. For him to, like I said, use sports to kind of divide us is something I can't sit back and not say nothing.
What would you say to the president if he's sitting right here?
I would never sit across from him.
To follow up, you talked about African Americans and how they've been disproportionately affected by the coronavirus.
Seems to be, unfortunately.
Do you plan on requiring the CDC, any federal agencies or state agents, public places doing tests and private companies doing tests to collect that data on the race of the people being tested and the race of the people being treated and the outcome?
Well, we're just seeing tremendous evidence that African Americans are affected at a far greater percentage number than other citizens of our country.
I think one of the things that we're going to be doing with our Medicare data is to do that analysis. We're going to look back at the last month or so and look at, related type illnesses going forward. We now have a code for coronavirus, so we can actually stratify by demographic information, so we can look at race as a factor. We can also look at what the underlying health issues are as well. So we'll be providing that data very shortly. But we will be doing that analysis.
Now, we want to find cures, we want to find therapeutics, we want to find vaccines, because that will solve everybody's problem. But why is it that the African American community is so much, numerous times more than everybody else? And we want to find the reason to it. And Dr. Fauci, Seema, both of them, and others are working on this. And they're going to have very good, I would say in less than a week, I think you're going to have very good statistics.
Couple of days. Something specifically aimed at those communities that are being hard hit, those black communities.
Well, we're helping them a lot. But what's happening is we're trying to find out why is it that it's 3 and 4 times. Now, maybe that's not going to be the final number, but why is it 3 or 4 times more so for the black community as opposed to other people? It doesn't make sense, and I don't like it. And we're going to have statistics over the next probably 2 to 3 days, okay?
Mr. President,
So since he spews so many insults so often, the president has called a lot of people stupid. Some of those people are white. But I would just like to note that referring to African Americans as dumb, remember this is America, referring to African Americans as dumb is one of the oldest canards of America's racist past and present, that black people are of inferior intelligence. And pretty much anyone and everyone in this country reacted. Here's what Dan Rather tweeted. He said, "I'd much rather live in a world reflecting the values, philanthropy, and yes, intelligence of LeBron James and Don Lemon's intelligent commitment to truth and journalism than the divisive, peevish lies and narrow self-interest displayed by the President of the United States." In Trump's world, Obama, Kenyan; LeBron James, dumb; Don Lemon, dumb; Maxine Waters, low IQ; black countries, shitholes; black athletes, SOBs; black tenants, unwelcome; black workers, lazy; Central Park 5, guilty; Mexicans, rapists; Muslims, terrorists; Indians, fake; Nazis, wait for it, very fine people. Notice a pattern? This president constantly denigrates people of color and women too. Congressman Maxine Waters, his new favorite target.
Maxine Waters, a very low IQ individual. Maxine Waters?
A low IQ individual.
She is a low IQ individual, Maxine Waters. I said it the other day. Honestly, she's somewhere in the mid-60s. Maxine Waters. Very low IQ. Low IQ.
But then again, this is the same man who for years tried to deny the legitimacy of America's first black president by questioning over and over and over whether Barack Obama was born in this country. I want us not mince words. Let me not mince words here. This president traffics in racism and is fueled by bullying. Will succeed if President Trump, who has his finger on he's the one who has his finger on the pulse of this country, is he revealing who we really are? Think about that.
Unfortunately, when you look at the predisposing conditions that lead to a bad outcome with coronavirus, the things that get people into ICUs that require intubation and often lead to death, they are just those very comorbidities that are unfortunately disproportionately prevalent in the African American population. So we're very concerned about that. It's very sad. It's nothing we can do about it right now except to try and give them the best possible care to avoid those complications. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. A woman last night, I watched her on one of the shows, good show, Laura, and she thought she was dead. She was a representative from Michigan. She was just in horrible shape for 12 days, 14 days. She thought she was dead. I think she said that her doctor said it's going to be very tough. She saw me talking about this, and she asked her husband to go to the drugstore. Now, this is a Democrat representative, a person that, perhaps wouldn't be voting for me. I think she'll be voting for me now, even if she's a Democrat, even if she's a Democrat representative. And they went to the store, which I made available because we have millions of doses. We have, I think, 29 million doses of this drug. And she asked her husband, she said, please go out. I'm not going to make it. Please, you have to hear her story. Please go out, get it. He went at 10 o'clock in the evening to the drugstore. He got it. He gave it to her. Now, it's I don't say it works like this at all. 4 hours later, she awoke and she said, I feel better. And then shortly thereafter, she felt great. This is a woman that thought she was going to die. She's a Democrat representative, highly respected woman, African-American woman. I don't know if you saw it. As you asked a question about African-American, she was an African-American woman, a great woman. Her manner of speaking, the way she told the story was beautiful. I asked my husband to go and get it. He got it. She is now okay. She was interviewed last night on television. And she thanked me. She thanked me even in a tweet. She said, I want to thank President Trump. He saved my tweet. She said, I want to thank President Trump. He saved my life.
They've called Trump himself a racist. What makes you stop short of that?
Well, I actually am not.
You're
the reality.
CNN. You're fake news.